Hopefully this isn't dead. What's up? Adam, JT, yeah. I still haven't figured out how to do all the promo stuff ahead of time, so I have to do the Facebook post, the YouTube post, the Instagram story, all while sitting here like a dingus live. But I didn't think I was going to hop on today. It's been an insanely crazy couple of weeks. Today I've been coordinating this drum publication. That's going to be coming out soon. Trying to get all these interviews scheduled and photo shoots, and gosh, it is. It's like herding cats, trying to get drummers to sit and have a conversation and then add a photo shoot on top of that. Forget about it. But I have a session tonight with the band I work here in Pittsburgh, Dr. Zoot, and we are doing a bunch of original things, quasi-live in the studio kind of session. We're definitely going for drums, hopefully bass takes, maybe some guitar and keys, but first time I've been in this studio, it's over in the keys port, and I took my, went over last night to set up. I took my Bucks County Prime Series Oak kit over there, which is the kit I use live with that band, and a handful of snare drums and a few sets of cymbals. It's interesting to hear my drums in a studio like that. It's a nice sized room, but definitely bigger than this room. But carpeted floors, you know, nice wood walls and non-symmetrical and all that. Pretty high ceilings. But a carpeted floor, so the drums just respond a little bit differently. The snare drums, last minute decision, I grabbed my 4x14 lavaliers low. What's going on here? Check 1, 2. The thing is all the way up. Let's see. Is that any better? Checking. Maybe my main mix is too low. Check 1, 2. 1, 2. Now that's clipping. Hang on. Let me sort this out. That's the drums. Is the mic okay? I mean, it's pretty much cranked. I probably have to change the batteries in it. Anyway, what was I saying? Snare drum ended up sounding best in the room with a last minute decision. A 4x14 Ludwig 1920s two-piece nickel over brass. I grabbed it right before I left. I was like, hey, you know what, that might be the right one. And it sounded better than the Superphonic chrome over brass. And I had to do a little bit more tuning once I got into that room. It's interesting how drums just react differently. I took a bunch of wood drums because that's what the leader requested. But I think the little 4x14 nickel over brass is going to be the winner. we shall see. I'll probably be posting some photos and stuff this evening from the studio. But I need to just play some drums to get dialed in physically. It's been so busy and hectic. So this is a Don Elias conga pattern I ripped off from a Jack DeJohnette record, Oneness. Sort of a womanco. So this snare here, 6x14 Jatoba. I can't remember if it's a 6-ply or an 8-ply. Let me see. I think it's a 6-ply with re-rings. Yep. I think it's a 6-ply Jatoba with maple re-rings. Pretty dense wood. And to be honest, it wasn't sounding great in my other studio. But in this room, it's kind of like the perfect match for this space. Turn down those reverb send, jeez. So I didn't want to take this drum out of here. I was like, maybe I'll just take this to the studio, excuse me. Because it sounds so good. But I know as soon as I take it out of here into a new room, I'm going to feel compelled to tune it differently. And it's just happy where it's at in this particular space. Adam, did I go over my mic setup? Yeah, a couple times, but it's so simple I don't mind just going over it again. This is the widest shot I got, and I tried to hide everything. But there is a Shure Beta 52 bass drum mic in front of the drum, not inside the drum, probably. I mean, this is how I measure the distance from, because I know that this, if I hold my hand like this, knuckle to here is 4.5 inches. I place the mic that distance away from the head because I've done tests and that's a good distance where it sounds good. So unless my hand shrinks or something or swells, that's the distance, a fist with the thumb poking out. From away from the front head, not dead center, probably an inch off to the side. Yeah, put the mic 1 fist away from the head. Maybe an inch, inch and a half from the dead center point. So you get, the dead center point is kind of a nodal point where you lose some sound. So like an inch, inch and a half off center, it's 4.5 inches away from the head. That's the bass drum mic. And that is coming into this mixer on channel 1 at, roughly like 10 o'clock on the level. There's one overhead right here, which is arm's length away from me when I'm sitting at the kit. And that is a blue Dragonfly large diaphragm condenser. I have the capsule swiveled just slightly, so it is getting a little bit more floor tom. It's not aimed right at the snare, it's aimed just slightly over this way to pick up some floor tom. It's probably aimed right at it's aimed right here. So it's coming down, it's catching the floor tom right here. That's the overhead. That is dead center up the middle. That's the bulk of the sound you're hearing. And then I have a Yamaha EAD10 stereo unit on the bass drum, right in this spot. And that's coming in about even with the bass drum. So I'll go one mic at a time here. So just the bass drum mic. Nothing super sexy. The high end is about 3 o'clock. The low end is about 3 o'clock. The mids are right up the middle on this. Quite cheap. I can't see it. Alesis iMultiMix 8, old, cheap mixer. So that's the bass drum mic. Now I'll bring in the overhead. And EQ-wise, the high is at 3 o'clock, the mids are at 9 o'clock, the lows are at 3 o'clock. So I'm scooping out some of the mids in the overhead, boosting the highs, boosting the lows. And then the EAD10 kind of brings in all the magic, all the punch. It is on the studio reverb channel, but I have the compression off and the reverb is only like 1.5. So I'll bring that in. So you can hear that short reverb kind of comes in. Let me turn the main effects off. So I want to do that again. So you'll just hear the kick and overhead, and I'll bring in the EAD10. That's that, and that is coming in straight up, no EQ or nothing. And now I'll bring in just the board stock hall reverb. And I'm sending just the overhead to that. And I don't usually use that hall. I usually use number 30, which is like the first chamber. That's 31, the second chamber reverb. I'm just bringing that in just to give a little bit of space. Looks like my interface might be clipping a bit after cranking everything. That's really it. There is zero compression because I don't have it on the EAD10 channels. There's no compression in this mixer. I do have I think it's an ART compressor or something in the other room that I used to use on gigs, like a rack mount compressor limiter. I might put that into the chain between the output of the mixer into the interface just so I can boost the overall level without peaking. But that wouldn't be for any kind of special effects. That would just be for limiting to bring up the overall level. So yeah, that's it. It's as simple as it can be. One bass drum mic, 4.5 inches from the head, overhead mic an arm length away, aimed slightly at the floor tom. Yamaha EAD10 is definitely the secret sauce. Just the studio, no triggered kick sound or snare sound. Even though I have a trigger on the snare, I'm not using it. Not using the built-in compressor in that, just a touch of the studio verb. And that's it. Yeah, the big thing is the room is completely controlled. There's no slap back at all in this space. So you're just hearing the drums kind of as they are. 12, 14, 18, 15 by 18 bass drum, 6 by 14 snare. That's that. And then drum head wise, G1 coated on the snare, G12 coated on the rack tom and floor tom, G1 clear on the bottom, 300 series on the bottom of the snare. Kick drum has the UV EQ4 batter, and then the white, whatever it's called, EQ resonant with a porthole on the front. I do have rolled up towel touching the batter head, another rolled up towel touching the front head, and then a third small towel laying inside the shell just to break up some of the reflections. Yeah, I can't enable super chats until my channel is back being monetized. I let it sit dormant for too many years and I lost all my my view times. So they took away my monetization options. So I've got to get like another 1,000 hours of watch time before the monetization kicks back in, which is why I've been streaming almost daily for a few weeks to try to get those hours back up. So if you want to just put the channel on mute and let it play for 1,000 hours straight, I would, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, that's, it was monetized years ago. I would put a lot of attention to the channel, and then some other work-related conflicts, I had to kind of unfortunately let it sit dormant for a little while. But we're back. We're back, baby. So we'll get there. I just need 1,000 hours of watch time, which seems insane. I have like 3,000 almost, and I need 4,000. But so it goes. That's YouTube. Any other questions about the gear or whatever, let me know. I just need to get my hands on the drums a bit. So one of the songs I have to play is kind of like a Motown feel, so. I think it's about 90.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
question about the UV1s. You've found them a lot deader. Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the drum. Some drums don't like them. I tried them on, what did I try them on? My Premiers. No go. I tried them on my RBH Westwood kit, which is like mahogany poplar with rounded barren edges. Yeah, they were just a little bit too dead for those as well. They sound, UV2s sound amazing on my big Bucks County semi-solid mahogany kit, 13, 16, 18, 24. The UV2s are perfect for that because those are massive, punchy. I want them to be, you know, minimal, sustained kind of sound. The UV1s, I had a UV1 on my gigging snare drum. It's a 5.5 by 14 oak for like a year and a half. And it sounded amazing, and it never wore out until I just changed it like a week ago. So for snare drum, I think the UV1 is great if you're gigging a lot, because the G1 I kind of tear through if I'm hitting even remotely hard. Yeah, if you're trying them on a Catalina maple, I think if the barren edges aren't perfectly flat, those heads probably don't seat very well, because there's definitely a little bit more tension in the surface with that coated applique they put on it. So it probably doesn't mold to your barren edges as well. Maybe get those edges touched up. That might be a sign. It's not a big deal to do that. If you know someone, probably relatively cheap just to get them to clean those edges up. But yeah, I like the UV1 on snare mostly. I don't have a need for it on toms, and I just use the G1. This UV EQ4 is great on this bass drum, and the UV2s are perfect for that massive poplar mahogany kit. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have anybody that you trust, don't do it. They'll be fine. They'll be fine without it. I mean, you could even take some just really fine grit sandpaper on your own and just lightly just smooth out spots if you feel any kind of like splintery sections. But yeah, if the drums sound good with the heads you got, don't mess with them.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
I think that feel will be fine. Yeah, cymbals on my setup at the studio tonight is, well, I took a bunch of stuff. I'm starting with my gigging setup because that's the sound of that band. 21-inch Nicky Moon 1 Series medium thin, no, 20-inch Nicky Moon 1 Series medium thin main ride, an 18-inch custom 1 Series Sizzle Crash with a big bell. That was one of the first things he he made. I got that when I did a clinic with him at Woodland Percussion several years ago. Big old bell, it's pretty thin with a bunch of rivets in it. That's kind of my right side crash. Left side crash is a modified Amadia Comagene 18-inch crash that he modded for me, really thinned it out so it's super quick, but still kind of dark. So I don't have to hit it hard and it opens up. Modified 14-inch new beats from the 90s that he really thinned out, almost to be as thin as like some 50s A's, but not quite. They're a little bit crisper than the 50s A's. Those have been amazing. But I took some alternatives. I took my Sage Series 15-inch hi-hats, 17-inch crash, 19-inch crash, 21-inch ride. I also took the 18 and 22-inch blue collar boutique dries and the pair of 16-inch, what's he call the series now? They used to be called Relics, but he's calling them Sentinel series, I believe. Like lava model 16-inch hats, maybe for the Motown tune. I might try those. And yeah, that's the cymbals I took. These are not going to go. These are my old worlds. They're just going to stay here. What else did I throw in there? Some 13-inch. I did throw in some 13-inch A's, 50s A's, because I don't have any Nicky Moon 13s. Because you never know, because one song's like a samba feel, one's that like a Motown feel, one's a kind of gospel 3/4/6/8 feel. Another one is kind of disco-y. Another one is kind of moody, Tom's Heard It Through the Grapevine, Jay Bellerose kind of vibe. So I needed a bunch of different sounds. I only took one kit, but I have 6 snares and then 3 sets of cymbals. So we'll see. I don't even know what we're starting with. Also, I have some big fat snare drums that I'm going to maybe use on the snares if I need to. Old World 22-inch ride. That's what this is. This is a 22-inch Old World with, this has an oversized bell. This is kind of a one-off. He got some blanks in that had bigger bells. But yeah, this is an Old World. I do have a tiny little bit of tape on this 22. I'll show you on the bell, because the big old bell was just chiming maybe a little bit too much for. So there's a little bit of control. Actually, David Throckmorton here in Pittsburgh borrowed this, and that's what he did to it. To control it in some, because he plays acoustic jazz almost exclusively. And so he needs cymbals that are a little bit more controlled. But it seems to do the trick. Nothing on the 18 thin. I would say this is a 22 medium, bordering on medium thin. And then 14-inch medium thin hi-hats, 18-inch, I would say thin crash. My favorite, the 20, is in the other room. I just haven't brought it over yet. 20-inch thin, that's usually what I have over here. So that's one of the grooves I got to play tonight. What's the other one? The samba sort of funky thing. What tempo is that?
1.
Let's see if that's it.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 1, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1.
So that feels pretty comfortable. I'm not sure what we're going to do in the breakdown, so I just need to be prepared for whatever. I want to swap snares just for the fun of it here, so take off this Jatoba. This is the brass, Victory Brass, which is one of my main gigging snares with this band. But again, I didn't want to screw with it in the studio because it sounds good live. Looks like my interface is still peaking, so if you're hearing any distortion, my apologies. To bring this down.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1.
Ooh, 16th notes.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
All right, let's go to the 3/4 thing. Might be around 106.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
That's going to be the weirdest one because I'm not convinced that that's the right groove, but I got to try what I'm asked to do. And then we'll modify once we hear it. So that's the Victory Brass. I'm going to pull up this piccolo here that I haven't touched in a while either. Pro tip, drink coasters under your snare wires when you're not using the drum. Keeps it from buzzing. Every time I play a show somewhere where they have a pile of these cardboard coasters, I grab a few. It's keepsakes, and they're great for doing this. This guy, also a Jatoba. Same, might have been built around, this is from 2018. 4x14 Jatoba. I think it's a 6-ply with 3 rings. Doesn't say on the inside. Jatoba 3-ply. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know what that means. I think it's more than 3, but it's a Jatoba shell with maple re-rings. I haven't played this in a while. I was going to take this to the studio before I decided on the Ludwig piccolo instead. So I want to mess around with it. So that's pretty cranked, kind of what you would expect out of a piccolo. I'm gonna try to loosen it up, see what I get. There's some gels on here. See if I can get that ash zone, fat, beefy piccolo sound. What else do I got? All kinds of gels. Just put them all on. Go too far, and then we can remove some if need be. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gels, 5.5 gels, 6 gels. So basically just a complete circle of gels. Looks like someone's toddler. I've been putting stickers on my drum. I don't think we'll need this. I'm just going to detune it, see what we get. See you, Adam. Thanks for tuning in. So that might be too low. I think I kind of went past the, oh, that gel did not stick at all. So I'm down to only 7 gels. That's feeling kind of cool. Notice the rack tom was sympathetically adding tone. No bueno. So if I was going to use this sound, I'd probably just forego the rack tom entirely. Pretty wild how much the snare tension contributes to the low end. If it's too low, it loses it. If it's too tight, it loses it. There's somewhere right in the sweet spot where it kind of blooms. Still don't love it though. This might not be the drum for this sound because it's such a dense wood. Yeah, I think this drum wants to be tuned tighter. So I'll just start pulling some of this padding off and see how much is the right amount. So that's 2 gels, 1 drum tack, and then 1 of the 1.5 inch drum dots. You can see that. I've got a drum tack here, and then one of the bigger drum dots here. I think it's a drum dot. Definitely given me in like a late 80s John J.R. Robinson, Jeff Porcaro kind of snappy sound. end up pitch-wise. I'm digging it. It's not too tight. It's giving me a lot of smack, but there's still some body to it. This is a really old drum head on this thing too. It's like the old logo. Evans. It might be the original head that came on it. So it probably wouldn't hurt to swap the head out. But that's the Bucks County 4x14 Jatoba Piccolo, which I'm digging. All right, I'll get the original Jatoba back up here, and then I'm going to sign off and get some work done. I just needed to play the drums for a few minutes, and it helps to have the cameras on because it adds a little extra bit of pressure, which kind of simulates what's going to happen tonight once we start recording. Just the pressure of having to perform. Streaming sort of replicates the live gig or studio session vibe for me, like anxiety-wise. So the more normalized I can make it, the better. That drum sounds cool in this room. This kit and that drum are kind of playing well together and playing well in this room. That's it. I've got to go. Thank you for logging on for this random impromptu stream. I promise I will get more organized and do some more curricular style streams here shortly, but I got to get through the next couple of weeks of absolute insanity with gigs and all sorts of other stuff. So have a good one, and I will see you soon.